No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino call-in line at 405-329-9000 or text the show on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
I got 3 words for you to describe the OU spring season. We'll get to that here in just a moment. This is Locked In on the home of Sooner fans, the Ref Sports Radio Network. Grayson Singleton and Josh Helmer back here today for an extra shift. What's going on, buddy?
Good afternoon, my man.
What's up? What's up? Hey, at Gray_Singleton on X, Gray_Singleton2 on X. He's at Josh on Ref, as you are very familiar with his voice from the Plank Show, sitting in for Parker Thune today. And we're brought to you, as always, by Dorsey Jones Buick GMC. This hour of Ref programming brought to you by them. We'll tell you more about them as we go on in this segment. But always remember, half-price oil changes on Saturday. So go see our friends at Dorsey Jones Buick GMC in El Reno to get your oil change tomorrow for half price off. Okay, this is going to be the interactive portion of our show. And, of course, our show is always interactive at 405-651-3439 on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. Again, Grayson Singleton, Josh Helmer, and you driving the show here today. So here's where I want to start. I got 3 words, and I want to hear your 3 words as well. 3 words to describe the Oklahoma spring. And this was something I came up with while I was getting my hair cut this morning, thinking about the fact that after this weekend, we will basically have no more reaction to the OU spring. We reacted to it all of this week. It was culminated by the Crimson Combine, which was a week ago tomorrow. And I've got 3 words to describe the OU spring. Number 1 is revelation. Number 2 is luxury. And number 3 is expectation. So revelation. I think Oklahoma has had a revelation at GM with Jim Nagy. And when Jim Nagy came aboard about a month and a half ago, all of us wondered, how long is it going to take for the Jim Nagy effects to be really, really felt? A lot of us thought it would be in the winter portal. A lot of us thought it would show up maybe during the season. But Jim Nagy's a dog, man. Going out and getting Jaden Knott and making it seem like nobody had a chance. It was an open and closed deal in 18 hours in a way that doesn't happen. Number 2 is luxury. I think we came out of spring knowing that OU's got a luxury, an embarrassment of riches at that cheetah spot. Kendall Dolby's coming back. Kendall Daniel is in tow. Sammy Omasigo can play cheetah really well. And if you can't keep Kendall Daniels off the field and you put him at cheetah, guess what? Kendall Dolby can be that second corner opposite Eli Bowen. And number 3, Josh Helmer, text line, Sooner Nation, expectation. Because the OU spring has been good. John Mateer looks great. The offensive line has improved. Ben Arbuckle's system seems pretty exciting, man. And the expectation now is that you're back to being the University of Oklahoma. Your defense is expected to be just as formidable as it was in 2024. The offense is expected to be more complementary to what the defense is expected, and rightfully so, to be. The expectation now is that you're a real competitor in the SEC, and you're potentially aiming to be one of the final 12 competing on a national title. Josh Helmer, what say you? I've got revelation, I've got luxury, I've got expectation. If you could describe the OU spring in 3 words, what would it be?
I like it. I like the words that you've chosen. I took some liberties, by the way, with the 3 words here, okay? I
Give it to me.
On occasion, turn this into 3 phrases.
Okay. I'm here for
Oklahoma.
it. I'm here for it.
I'll just start with the first one here, which is a word. singular word, not a phrase, success. It's been a successful spring for Oklahoma. OU, we know, coming out of last season, Grayson, they had to upgrade the quarterback position. And I think that became clear midway through last season that, offensive line issues, and it was problematic up front for Oklahoma. It wasn't just the offensive line. It wasn't just the injuries to skill players for Oklahoma. They had an upgrade that needed to be made at quarterback, and you did that right off the bat. You got John Mateer, and lo and behold, you've added to it. You've went and you've gotten a Jaden Knott, you've gotten a Mike La, and on and on and on. So it has been a success of a spring for Oklahoma, and that doesn't even get into part of what you mentioned, which is, I think, a strong point in the revelation, that is Jim Nagy, who's been conductor for a lot of this.
Yeah, no doubt, and especially when you look at how big of an addition we are going to talk about Josh Isosin here in just a second, but Jake Michaela is going to be. He's not a depth piece. This is a guy who can push Troy Everett for that starting center spot. And that's another get for Nagy. I see on the text line already, a text in the 405. Nagy has picked up 2 players in the portal so far. Settle down. I would settle down, and I would agree with you if these weren't guys who could potentially be high-impact players. And I think the fact that you look at how the backfield sort of broke down on itself last year and the way the offensive line broke down on itself last year, the running game was very ineffective. The offensive line was probably the precursor to that. The fact that they were ineffective mostly due to a lack of health. And you project some kind of a turnaround, those 2 guys could be in the thicket of all of it. That's why I'm reacting the way I do.
I also wrote down.
Go for it.
Star power. Oklahoma went and found star power out of the portal. Obviously, not all of this with Jim Nagy, but from the December through the spring on, you went and you got Mateer. You went and you got Ott. And then, 2 more here. Blue blood, money moves. This is what has to happen. You got to go make money moves, baby. You got to bring in star power. You got to get guys that can change the equation for Oklahoma, and I think OU's done that, and they have in the process demonstrated that, look, if you thought that everybody around here is going to sit on their hands and they're okay with we're going to wait and let things develop, no, this is a blue blood program, and the time for waiting is over. The time for winning is now, and I think that clearly has been on display the last couple of months for OU.
By the way, we're also on YouTube as well. Hit us up on the YouTube chat, KREF Sports. You'll find Josh and I live right there. 405-651-3439. Tell us what you think. 3 words that you would describe OU's spring season as. Brian in Bixby said, my 3 words are LFG.
I like it.
I cannot say what those are because of FCC regulations. Well done, Brian in Bixby. Hey, a couple of transfer portal notes as we continue to go along here in this opening segment of Locked In. Josh Isosa, offensive lineman, into the portal. That broke, I'd say, 30 minutes ago. On the flip side, you have a visit from Jalen Smith. And he comes, a defensive tackle from Southeast Missouri State. Did I say Jalen Smith? Jalen Stone, pardon me. Jalen Stone, Southeast Missouri State, is going to visit Oklahoma. That visit is about to commence here shortly. And you can never have enough big bodies on the defensive side in the SEC. I mean, that's just the reality of the SEC. The best teams have a lot of depth there. And Oklahoma, by the way, Josh, you talk about luxury, one of the words I used to describe the cheetah position. If they're able to land Jalen Stone, you've got a luxury at defensive tackle as well because they are deep there already.
Well, I think it's their best position group.
I agree with you.
If you had to power rank position groups for Oklahoma right now, defensive tackle would be, I think, I don't know that it's particularly close. I think it's kind of the slam dunk choice.
I would say defensive tackle. Wide receiver pre-Giovanni Gibson injury. was one. If you want to factor in upside, let me pitch this one to you, Josh. If you want to factor in upside and everybody remaining, let's just say 85% healthy, because nobody's 100% healthy throughout the season. Running back?
Now that you've got Ott, yeah, the picture has changed there quite a bit. Just based on what guys have done here, I would still lean defensive tackle because we've seen those guys produce at Oklahoma. And, Jaden Ott obviously has the 1,300-yard rushing season under his belt a couple of years ago. He was regarded as somebody that could be a day one, day two type NFL draft pick, and then kind of ran into the injury bug. So he's produced in a big-time way elsewhere, but I guess I would just hold off a smidge on him because I want to see him do it in Norman.
I would agree with that. And let me be clear. I'm not saying running back should usurp defensive tackle as the most depth position at Oklahoma. Like, that's out of the question. But in terms of like a 2 or a 3, running back has certainly ascended those power rankings, that's for sure. Because in the immediate aftermath of the Jaden Ott signing, we've talked about this is going to be a 3-headed horse with Ott and Sawchuk and Barnes, right? The name we're leaving off is the dude that ended the season the hottest for Oklahoma at running back, and that's X.
Yep.
So it's like, you've got 4.
And, you've added a youngster in that.
Torrey Blaylock.
In that room as well, and Torrey Blaylock that, who knows, right? Haven't seen him at OU yet, but there's a lot of excitement that maybe he could help you some.
Chris from Knoxville, Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. Promising, timely, and cautious.
Okay.
That's interesting. So a lot more conscious approach. Les Wilson on our YouTube chat. Expectation, hires, and decisions. I like those. They made really good hires. And by the way, we'll talk about another hire to lead off segment number 2.
They keep making.
They keep making good hires. I mean, you look at the offseason, what are all the hires? Obviously, Ben Arbuckle is the headline at offensive coordinator. Kevin Wilson comes in, who could be, if this offensive line turns around in the way that we think it will post-spring, Kevin Wilson's an unsung hero of this offseason with his work with the offensive line. So you brought him in, obviously Jim Nagy. You're probably going to have some more rearranging of the front office because of that. But so far, your hires have been A to A+, I would say.
It's been a great series of hires for Oklahoma, and obviously, none bigger than Jim Nagy and what he continues to construct in that general manager position for Oklahoma.
Let me add another word. I want to see what you think of this, Josh. Aggressive.
Yeah.
Oklahoma was aggressive this offseason. Ben Arbuckle went out and got him. After you made the push for Dan Mullen, you made an offer. You made the push, you made an offer for a defensive coordinator by the name of Jim Knowles. And sometimes you swing and miss. But being aggressive doesn't mean you bat 1,000. But they were aggressive going there to try to replace Zach Alley. And then they went out and got Jim Nagy. And then Jim Nagy went out and got. You're not going to tell me that you were not the aggressor. Maybe an agent came to Jim Nagy and said, "Hey, my guy's going to be in the portal. What do you think?" But you don't go from in the portal to signed in 18 hours without aggression. So that would be my 4th word that you would throw in there too.
Some intention there, right? Some great intent. Urgency along those lines. I think that you've seen urgency from Oklahoma that, look, we got to get better. And we got to get better at quarterback. We got to get better at running back. We have to continue to upgrade this offensive line. So across the board, Oklahoma has understood, look, we need to improve this roster. And even before that, addressing some needs with the acquisition of Kendall Daniels, understanding what's leaving in the way of a Danny Stutzman, a Billy Bowman, knowing that you got that star power exiting out. And look, we got to have somebody back there that has played some football and can come impact things in a hurry.
Sooner Bump on the text line. Great to see us finally aggressive in the offseason and portal. And I think that's what it's going to come down to, is the fact that they were aggressive. They didn't sit back and say, let's kind of see what happens to us just based on reputation. Because right now, you were in a downswing after last season. And the interlocked OU could have only done so much for you if you didn't go out and get it. And I think that, and I come away very impressed by that.
Yeah, this fan base needed this spring.
I mean, I talked about it in the 12 o'clock hour with Steely. There was a shroud covering Oklahoma after last year. I mean, it was dark. You barely get to a bowl game. Now you had the one bright spot where you mollywopped Alabama. But you barely get to a bowl game, and then you lose said bowl game. And all of a sudden it's like, I don't know where we're going. Coaching staff seems to be on life support, given that they have to be successful in 2026, and all of a sudden this happens. I think it's a complete 180 in terms of the atmosphere around the program now.
Now you got to go win.
Now you've got to go do it. That's why expectation was my last word.
The money moves, the blue blood status, you got to go back it up and earn it, right? I mean, you've made a number of moves in the right direction out of the transfer portal, which, oh, by the way, is brought to us by Scissortail Roofing and Construction. Check them out. ScissortailRoofing.com. Give them a call, 405-928-8089. Transfer all of your roofing and construction needs to Scissortail Roofing and Construction. You've made those quote-unquote money moves here, but now it's got to work out for you. And some of that will be, can we just get a clean bill of health? Can you just find some good fortune on that front and keep the personnel that you've got together healthy and on the field? And if you do, I think there is that buzz percolating and building, Grayson, that Oklahoma's done some big-time things, not just from us here on the Ref, but nationally. I think you're starting to see some folks say, okay, wow, this is impressive what OU's done.
Teddy and I talked about this yesterday on The Rush. FanDuel still has Oklahoma's over-under win total for 2025 at 6.5. You smashing that over right now?
Yeah, but I loved the over a season ago, so.
Well, a lot of last year's demise had to do with an unrational amount of injuries.
Yeah.
That you can never forecast.
I love OU to win 7 games plus. Yes, absolutely. If you gave me, hey, you have to make a pick, I'm slamming the over and feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, I am too. At minimum, I think you get to 7. And look, the non-con thing, and I've got my thoughts on how the SEC schedules with that random glorified bye week in the middle of the season. But there's 3 wins right there, maybe 4 if you beat Michigan. So all of a sudden you got to win 3 SEC games. I'm good on getting to 7. All right, we're brought to you today by Dorsey Jones, Buick GMC NL Reno, a family-owned and operated, established in 2020, but many of our employees have been here for more than 20 years. Half-price oil changes on Saturdays. They sell Buicks and GMCs. Great service over there by our friends at Dorsey Jones, Buick GMC. D. Graham says, sup players on the YouTube chat. What's going on to all of you? We're coming back with more Locked In. Grayson Singleton, Josh Helmer here on a Good Friday here on the Ref.
Bleed Crimson? Love great Sooner talk? Join the Ref Army by downloading our free app. Toby and TJ, Plank and Josh, Steelman and Thune, and Teddy and Tyler. We have the Sooner experts. The Ref is home to Sooner fans worldwide.
Hi, folks. This is Larry Knippelmeyer here at Knippelmeyer Chevrolet in Blanchard, USA. Conveniently located just 15 minutes south of Oklahoma City and 10 minutes west of Norman. With all the talk of inflation, market crashes, and tariffs, it's no wonder we're all afraid to make that new vehicle purchase. Now, with that being said, there will probably never be a better time to purchase your new Chevrolet at Knippelmeyer Chevrolet. No price increase or tariffs on our huge selection of in-stock vehicles. Pickups, SUVs, cars, and even Corvettes, all marked down and ready to sell. Interest rates are good, used vehicle trade-ins are high, and rebates and incentives are back on most new Chevrolets. So hop in that old vehicle and come see us at Knippelmeyer Chevrolet in Blanchard, where nobody beats our deal. Or give us a call at 405-485-3333 or catch us on the web at knippelmeyer.com. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Don't miss out on OKC's hottest entertainment at the Showplace Theater with acts like Randy Rogers Band, May 16th. Jay Leno and Arsenio Hall, June 6th.
My wife and I go to the supermarket, and the clerk says, "Do you want a bag for that?" "No, we're going to eat it here, okay?"
Nick Swartzen, June 7th.
If a girl's driving, I never call shotgun. I'm like trunk, glove compartment.
And Sawyer Brown, July 11th. Riverwind is OKC's favorite casino experience.
What's up, Ref Army? It's Dusty Dvorak. Do you eat, sleep, and breathe football? KREF is the only place for the most comprehensive daily analysis of Sooner and college football. Catch me every Tuesday and Wednesday during the 10 a.m. hour of The Plank Show as I cut it up with Plank and Josh about everything in the world of Sooner and college football. That's every Tuesday and Wednesday on The Plank Show, and there's only one place to hear it. The Ref, the home of Sooner fans. Download the KRF app today to listen from anywhere.
It doesn't seem possible, but we're celebrating our 50th anniversary at Markham's Nursery this spring. Back in 1975, our family started our business down on the farm in Washington, Oklahoma. A lot of things have changed since then, but the honest and appreciative way Bill and Shree serve their customers hasn't changed a bit. Seasoned gardener or just getting started, we can help make your landscape or garden a success. Come celebrate our 50th with the folks who know how to grow in Oklahoma, Markham's Nursery.
Markham's Nursery, just add the sun.
Spring is heating up at Coach's Corner in Norman, and we're bringing the fun all week long. Don't miss a single pitch with MLB Extra Innings. Every Major League game right here. And mark your calendars, April 19th is our big Easter basket giveaway, plus an epic Easter egg hunt to follow. Thursdays, karaoke from 7 to 10, then college night until 2 a.m. And Soul Food Saturdays and Sundays are bringing the flavor all weekend long. Get ready for Sunday Fun Day with movie nights, live concerts, and yes, water balloon fights. At Lindsay and Barry, Coach's Corner, where every day's game day.
For the professional, it's not enough to just possess knowledge. That's why at GMC, we seek to refine it, to wield its power, to redefine its boundaries, while pushing the limits. And we put this knowledge to the test in every GMC Sierra by engineering each one to outperform your expectations. So you know you're getting precision and durability when you need it most. And that's what makes the GMC Sierra the truck worth knowing. We are professional grade. See your Oklahoma GMC dealers.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Okay, welcome back. Locked in on a Friday. Hope everybody is enjoying their end of the week leading up to Easter. Happy Easter, happy Good Friday to all those who celebrate. Happy Easter to you, Josh Helmer.
And right back at you, my friend.
You guys
to all of you, Ref Arm.
You guys do anything cool for Easter?
Headed over to my wife's family's house, so that will be the Easter Sunday excursion.
Is this do y'all rotate? Helmer, your family one year, wife's family the next?
We have historically spent Easters with her family.
Okay.
And, I'm sure at some point, if that evening, if we have lunch there and then, Easter dinner here, that could be the case. But my parents live here and her family lives in Tulsa, so it's kind of like.
Oh, y'all aren't even that far.
Yeah, well, but we see my family so much more that, on an Easter holiday, it's, we kind of owe it to her family to go there, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. Yeah, I'll be headed home to my family for the weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna brave the I-35 South traffic.
Yeah, good luck.
In the middle of rush hour. Grayson Singleton, Josh Helmer, locked in on the Ref, the home of Sooner fans. Josh, give us a baseball update. What's going on out there in Columbia?
It's going well. Game one of the doubleheader today. Of course, the Sooners 17-4. They clubbed Missouri last night. 11-4 they lead right now, top 7. And the Bags are juiced with 2 away for Oklahoma. So Oklahoma in front, 11-4, and trying to maybe make it another run rule victory and then, of course, turn around and try and sweep this thing.
Y'all are crazy on the YouTube chat.
What are they saying?
Heckert on the YouTube chat. Wait, Josh is white? What'd you think he was? I mean, look, I'm not saying Josh is like I'm not saying you're like the whitest sounding dude ever. But like
that might be sarcasm, right?
I hope it is hilarious. Like Blake Gamble, who's running our YouTube chat in here, was just busted out laughing while you were at the end of our baseball update, and I was like, oh no, what happened on the YouTube chat? Like, it's one thing. Like
I can't confirm that is accurate. Yes.
Like if you think I'm white, if you hear me and think I'm white, or if you're viewing us on YouTube for the first time and you saw me and then heard my voice and you felt like you were on an acid trip, I could understand. But
you're saying that. What are you trying to say here, huh?
But I don't think Josh sounds black. I don't know. I don't know what it means.
My ethnicity, you would think, is probably clear to most. Typically.
4-star tackle Carter Scruggs recently visited Norman. And Parker Thune, who is the co-host of this show here, Locked In, co-publisher at OU Insider, documented that on OU Insider today. And here's what Carter Scruggs, he's a 4-star tackle. Now, OU is battling the likes of Georgia, Michigan, and Penn State. He already has official visits booked to Clemson on May 30th, Michigan on June 6th, Penn State June 13th, and then Georgia on June 20th, which, of course, is the weekend of the Champion Barbecue. Now, it is a possibility, and this is in the article on OU Insider, that Oklahoma replaces Georgia as that last official visit. So we'll see what that ends up looking like. But those are the top 5, Clemson, Michigan, Penn State, Georgia, and Oklahoma. Here's
some big names in there.
Those are some big names.
That's what you expect, right? You know, highly ranked offensive tackle prospect, and oh, by the way, probably a lot of the folks that Oklahoma's after are going to have those types of names on the offers and leaderboard.
Mm-hmm. I'll get to another one, a 5-star, in just a second, by the way. But here's what Carter Scruggs had to say about his visit to Norman. Quote, "It's left a great impression on all of us. It's definitely one of the elite cultures that I've seen. I think Coach Venables is doing a great thing with Oklahoma, and they're definitely poised to have a lot of success this year. A lot of the stuff that Coach Venables was pushing towards his team is a lot similar to Clemson. Go figure. So I think it's really cool that he kind of got a lot of things from Clemson and kind of put it in his own way. I really like the way he does that," end quote. You know, it's weird because all the coaches that coached under Bill Belichick and tried to duplicate that when they got head coaching jobs, the Matt Patricias of the world, Josh McDaniels, just failed miserably. And I know I'm comparing NFL to college here. But Brent Venables took the culture that Dabo Swinney had established at Clemson, has moved that to Oklahoma, and it has resonated with a ton of people. And even though 2 out of 3 years you have not gone the way you want it to go, in terms of instilling a culture, that has been an unmitigated success.
The results on the field, right, feel like the missing ingredient, which obviously that's the most important ingredient for everybody listening and following us here on the Ref. But, the recruiting philosophy, I think, over Venables' tenure in Norman has been a good one, right? And the transfer portal for Oklahoma, if it was slow for OU under Venables to adapt to it, they have caught up. Now they have been a transfer portal player. So the recruiting side, I think we've said it a lot, man. That's probably the part you're not that concerned about that with Oklahoma under Venables and company. They've done a great job recruiting. Now they have to show, okay, we can recruit, we can develop, and then, oh, by the way, we can go get a portal acquisition here and there, and then we can win, right? Then we can coach and go win.
Furthermore, from Carter Scruggs, he was asked about Bill Bedenbaugh. Quote, "He's for sure an old-school guy in everything he does, but it's all for a reason. And just the stuff they do every day, it has a rhyme and a reason to it. I think it's really great for the development, and obviously it's worked really well with the amount of guys he's put in the NFL." I mean, there's your selling point right there for Oklahoma if you're Bill Bedenbaugh to any offensive tackle.
Really any lineman.
Any lineman in general. I mean, Creed Humphreys is the best center in the NFL right now. I don't think that's disputable.
And if you want to have a debate, okay, well, he's in the mix, right? He's right there.
I mean, Jason Kelsey retired. I don't think there is a debate to have. But I mean, all Bill Bedenbaugh has to do, if I were Bill Bedenbaugh, I'd have on a whiteboard, right? Maybe on a whiteboard, it's just on a wall. I'd have a poster of every single first-round pick I've had in the last, however how long. And if that's not a sell enough, then I don't know what is.
Bill Bedenbaugh business card. Do you like money on one side of it? Just hand it out.
And hey, man, that works out for a lot of people. Hey, you want a little bit of money now? But I got you. I got you 3, 4, 5 down the line. And with your development, you're going to get that second contract too. So I got you really down the line.
The retention at Oklahoma with, the R. Mason Thomases, Danny Stutzman, Billy Bowman the year before, I think, Grayson, to me, that's a pretty solid indication that if you come to Oklahoma and you play well, you're probably going to get compensated pretty well, right? So the money here and now, if it's not, as robust out of the high school ranks at Oklahoma for every single prospect as maybe it is at some places nationally, if you come here and you play well and you're a key cog at OU, I think that the MO from the program has been pretty obvious that, look, you're going to get paid if you come to Oklahoma and you play well and you stick around.
And look, Carter Scruggs, if you guys have been following this show ever since I hopped on this show in a full-time capacity since the beginning of the 2025 calendar year, Carter Scruggs has been one of my favorite recruits that Oklahoma has been going after. Really, really good, really agile, fast for a big guy. I've really loved Carter Scruggs, and if they're able to reel him in, he's phenomenal. I see you're playing the highlights right now. You're going to be impressed with what you see, Josh Helmer.
Yeah, he moves well for a guy that big.
6'6", 290.
Yeah, gets out on the edge. These guys, sometimes the high school tape, look at these guys he's blocking are so much smaller than he is,
right.
But he moves well. You're watching this huddle tape and trying to project it forward. Just watching the way that he moves at that size is pretty exciting.
Yep, and look, you're going to play against smaller guys. I mean, he's from Loudoun County, Virginia. I don't know what the demographic is of Loudoun County, Virginia, in terms of what kind of athletes they produce there. But I'm guessing they're not going up against the greatest. But he's dominating, and that's all you can ask for.
This offensive line tape's always so funny sometimes for these high school guys.
No, for real.
I mean, it's like it's borderline criminal what's happening out on that football field at times from Carter Scruggs.
Because people like Carter Scruggs and like Michael Fasusi, who are a legit, 290 in their junior year, and it's a good 290. Oh, and by the way, they're 6'5 plus. There's not a whole lot of people that are just pumping. Okay, that's a weird way to say that. Those sorts of people are not made every day.
No. That's a special athletic specimen.
No doubt.
And that's a special skill set. That was one of the first things that jumped out about Ryan Foje when he kind of burst onto the scene for Oklahoma. He was not a blue chip guy, Grayson, when OU was linked to him, and I think when they first offered him, or when he committed. But he quickly became a blue chip guy. But you looked at Foje's tape, and he moved so well for being the size that he was, and I see similar traits here from Carter Scruggs, which is exciting. I think you want, if you're Oklahoma, you want the frame and the 6'6", 290, and oh, by the way, we can add 20 or 25 pounds to that frame. But how do they move? At that size, and when, man, you've got that type of athleticism, because look, you're going to be dealing with guys on the edge in the SEC that this is the best that you're going to see in college football. Edge guys, in the SEC, so you better be able to move around at offensive tackle.
And another guy that's just like that Oklahoma is still targeting and is in the top 5 for is 5-star tackle Felix Ojo. Mentioned him briefly yesterday. Now, the reason we bring up Felix Ojo, who will still OV to Oklahoma, Champion Barbecue Weekend, June 20th to the 22nd, is because he took an out-of-left-field visit to Colorado. Now, I don't know how serious that is because Colorado just lost its offensive line coach. Phil Lodeholt went to Mississippi State, and obviously he's got a good
for Phil.
Yeah, and he's got a good relationship with Jeff Levy, is what Ted educated me on yesterday. So that's
Lode Holt, former Sooner.
Former Sooner, former Minnesota Viking.
Great player here.
Excellent player in the NFL too. So that's a little interesting to me. I don't know how serious Colorado's in there with Felix Ojo. He's took an official visit to Florida too, who is also outside of his top 5. So this one's a little bit weird. This one's a little bit strange.
Some different names on that list there, as compared obviously to Scruggs, which is kind of maybe your more prototypical blue chip recruitment. But
right
now it's kind of seems like, I mean, is Dion there to stay at Colorado?
I think he is.
So I mean, they're going to be, if he's there, they're going to be an attractive destination.
You know what? Since I don't know if you and Plank broached this at all the last couple of days since it came out. What do you think about Colorado retiring Shedeur and Travis Hunter's numbers?
First of all, I think it's way too soon.
That I agree on, 1,000%.
So, I would start there. That to me, it's way too soon. I mean, do they deserve to have their jerseys retired? Probably not, as compared to some other names out there from Colorado's history, if we're doing that. But, depending on what happens in the next 10 to 15 years, you could look back and say that those were pretty foundational pieces.
And I think that's why it has some validity. I agree with you. You don't retire people's numbers right after they leave.
It's way too fast.
Way too. Usually the only time something like that ever happens is if something tragic happens to them, right? That's generally how that works. But as somebody who is of my age, Colorado football has never been discussed in my lifetime. Colorado football has been a joke.
Sure.
For my entire existence on God's
green earth. Some would argue it still is, but
I mean, look, that's fair. Maybe it's a different kind of joke. But look, the fact that they won 9 games and finished in the AP top 25 last year is something that has literally never happened in my lifetime.
And they had a couple of guys that are going to get drafted, and we'll see about Shedeur, but certainly one that's going to be a top 5 NFL draft.
And he did, and to Travis Hunter's credit, he did win the Heisman. I think that does matter. But again, I do think it is too soon. Real quickly.
I don't have a big problem with it, though.
I agree.
With us not being a Colorado talk show here and talking Buffaloes nonstop.
Right.
I don't find myself angered by it, I guess. It seemed like some people out there really had strong opinions about it. I'm kind of like, okay, way too soon for me, but so be it.
And I think people I wonder if people on the text line have found this out about me. I don't deal in outrage very much. There's not much that gets me outraged. I just don't.
You're doing this all wrong, man. You gotta be upset about everything.
Real quickly, breaking news in the transfer portal. By the way, you pulled that up. Did you read the account that Brian and Bixby sent us this from? So Brian and Bixby on the text line sent us a graphic that one of Auburn's wide receivers, Cam Coleman, had planned to enter the transfer portal. It is by a parody account.
No 3 Sports.
No 3 Sports.
They do such a good job with these, fake announcements now.
It's just like NBA Centel.
It looks just like something On 3 would put out.
They used the exact same logo, except they switched one letter.
The only thing that the only thing they're missing is like the massive letters "he gone" or portal, or whatever it says.
405-651-3439. Talking Sooner recruiting and how to properly vet what you get on Twitter. Hey, Grayson Singleton, Josh Helmer here with you. One more segment of Locked In as we close up shop for the weekend, coming up next year on The Ref.
This is The Ref Sports Radio Network.
Coach Stoops here for Van Hoos Fence. If you want to work with the best local fence company and get championship service, contact my friend Mark and the Van Hoos Fence team. Van Hoos Fence gives each customer the most professional craftsmanship and competitive pricing in Oklahoma. From wood to chain link to vinyl to metal fences, the Van Hoos Fence team does it all. Contact the Fencing All-Americans at Van Hoos Fence, 405-735-1167 or vhfence.com.
More than 600,000 Oklahomans have disabilities. We can't afford to leave great employees behind just because they do things differently.
Who we are and what we accomplish
are much more important.
Hire an Oklahoman with a disability and gain dependability, commitment, and lower turnover. Reach out. Oklahoma Rehabilitation Services, okdrs.gov. 1-800-845-8476.
Exciting news for car buyers in Norman and surrounding areas. Sooner Kia of Norman is under new management with new construction coming soon. At Sooner Kia, they believe that every customer deserves excellent service and expert knowledge about their incredible Kia models. Whether you're interested in the sleek K5, the versatile Sportage, or the eco-friendly EV9 or EV6, they've got you covered. Join the Sooner Kia family today and discover how they're making car buying in Norman and OKC easier and more enjoyable than ever. Visit SoonerKia.com, where great deals and exceptional service meet. Looking for a fun and adventurous way to spend the summer? Join the Sooner Theater for an unforgettable summer camp experience. The Sooner Theater has 2-week, half-day sessions for students entering kindergarten through 6th grade. Whether your child loves acting, dancing, singing, or magic, these camps have something for everyone. With sessions in June and July, your child can explore creativity, make new friends, and have a blast performing on stage for friends and family. Don't miss out. Sign up now for a summer full of fun and adventure through the performing arts. Visit SoonerTheater.org to learn more and register today. Schumacher Law Group, when experience matters. Tracy Schumacher is a former prosecutor and former district judge. Whether it's a probate challenge, criminal charges, or contentious divorce proceedings, experience matters. The attorneys at Schumacher Law Group provide compassionate, knowledgeable advice, all while fighting for your best interests. Find Schumacher Law Group online at lawgroupok.com or call 405-701-1882. Hometown lawyers ready to fight for you when experience matters.
Hi Norman, it's DJ Newsom with Alliance Bank, your community-driven, friendly neighborhood bank. Whether you're a budding entrepreneur, lead a nonprofit organization, or just someone seeking a better banking experience, we've got you covered. From business to personal banking, we tailor our services to suit everyone's needs. We believe in making banking easy and enjoyable. Visit our Norman location or call us today at 405-286-5750. Alliance Bank, banking tailored to your needs. Member FDIC.
Landmark Fine Homes is a custom home builder in Oklahoma City. Our commitment is to build energy-efficient, custom-quality crafted homes around the metro OKC area. If you're looking to build your first home or last, Landmark Fine Homes is the builder for you. We have many floor plans to choose from, or bring us one that you already have. We have communities throughout the metro, or we will build on your lot. Call 405-347-5991 and let Landmark Fine Homes help turn your dreams into a reality.
We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
I didn't realize how high my headphones are turned up until you played that bump music.
Was it pretty loud?
Yeah, it was.
How far did you have that knob over there cranked up?
A little bit higher than I should have had it.
My wife religiously tells me, your headphones that's way too loud. Way too loud, Josh.
So that is how...
I said, sweetie, I'm deaf. I've been in radio for a long time now.
So my parents are like that whenever I drive around with them in the car. I listen to music and look, I will admit this. I listen to music in my car pretty loud. Like a lot louder than I probably should.
It's not advised?
No, it's not. But also, see, here's the weird
thing. Or
thing.
maybe it is.
See, here's the weird thing. I always find weird things about my dynamic with my parents, who I love very dearly, whenever I go back to my parents' house in Dallas.
Which you will soon.
Yes. Which, hopefully, God willing, I will be there within 5 hours.
Yeah, I would recommend leaving like you're heading down today?
Yeah, I'm gonna go home, grab the suitcase, and
just zip on out.
Yeah.
Might as well just wait until later tonight. Probably get there at the exact same time.
Honestly, you're probably not wrong. But here's the thing with my parents is like, so I'll watch sports in the living room at my parents' house, and my mom, for some reason, has like the strangest hearing thing where like something sounds totally normal to me in the living room, and she's all the way in the back of the house, and she'll be like, "Hey, turn that down. How can you hear this?"
How could you hear that from that far away?
It's like I don't get it. It's very strange. Here's some breaking news.
Breaking news, which
Yeah.
by the way is brought to us by Sooner Kia.
Yeah, you beat me
They
to it.
are under new management. Their team, they're passionate about helping you find the perfect vehicle that fits your lifestyle, your budget, whether you're interested in the sleek Kia K5, the versatile Sportage, or the eco-friendly EV9 or EV6. They got you covered at SoonerKia.com.
Jeff Goodman put this out about an hour ago.
Okay.
He retweeted
Basketball
this.
guy.
This is a basketball guy. This comes from Mitt Winter, who's an attorney at Kenny Hertz Perry LLC. He's a college athletics attorney also.
Yeah, I see his tweets from time to time.
He says, quote, "It sounds like, based on a number of things,
Okay.
a federal judge in New Jersey is strongly considering granting a preliminary injunction that would prohibit the NCAA from enforcing its 5-year eligibility rule. We'll find out next week." Now, the timing of this is comical because...
So what does that mean? That they're not going to be able to do it, I guess?
If there's an injunction on it, yeah.
That, so basically you wouldn't get that 5th year of eligibility just yet.
Okay, no. So I think you're interpreting this. So the NCAA has a rule that you cannot play more than 5 years, I guess, is the eligibility
Well,
cap.
right. You've got 4 years of eligibility plus a potential redshirt year.
Yes.
And they've been they've been proposing to make it a 5-year thing.
Right.
To just get rid of, the 4 years of eligibility and just give you five years.
Now, this injunction would stop them from enforcing that altogether.
Got it.
Basically,
So can you just be in college forever?
Throwing the door open. It's been cracked, but shoving it completely open for unlimited eligibility.
Oh my goodness. That is nuts, though.
Wild.
We can't.
Wild stuff.
We can't live in a world where there's somebody 32 years old still playing college football or basketball.
And it's comical because Chad Baker-Mazara from Auburn recently said he's in the transfer portal, and somehow, some way, this 26-year-old still has eligibility in college basketball.
Listen, I'm open to changing my mind. If he wants to come to Oklahoma, I would happily welcome him on the basketball team here.
The early intel is that Kentucky is the team making the early run at him.
Mr. Pope and company?
Yeah. Who, by the way, they did really good in the transfer portal last year. Nobody from that team from 2023 to 24 was on that team in this past year. Kind of remarkable what Mark Pope did in his first year.
Unfortunately, Sooner fans found that one out the hard way.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good
Couple
point.
of times.
OU baseball update.
Yeah, it is 11-6. Sooners still in front, playing in the top of the 8th. Looked like for a moment it might be headed in the run rule direction, but Missouri struck back, played it a couple. It's tightened up a bit, so the Sooners look like they're going to have to take it the full 9-inning route to grab game 1 here, but still in good position to do that. 11-6.
What's your read on OU baseball too?
I think they're good, man.
I think they're good.
This league's awesome.
It's been great, and Josh, I envy you, man, getting to call some of these games.
Oh, it's awesome.
These OU baseball games. I mean, because you'll
get there.
Oh, I'm sure.
You're on the climb, my friend.
I'm sure. I mean, a lot of times I do have to remember that I'm 23 years old.
Yeah, dude, you're a pup.
but I mean, I do envy you for that. I mean, you're talking about you get to go play LSU now. Granted, you got dog walked by LSU.
Yeah,
we
don't need to revisit that.
Who's the number one
series.
team? But then you come back and you take 2 of 3 in convincing fashion, by the way, from Vanderbilt.
Yeah, it was a big time response. And oh, by the way, you had another one of those DBU debacles mixed in beforehand. So yeah, bouncing back the way they did versus Vanderbilt was important. And they, against this Missouri team, you got to win the series, and really you want to sweep just because this Missouri team in the RPI, they're winless in SEC play, Missouri is.
Yep.
And oh, by the way, their RPI stinks. So these are quad 3 games for OU, and when you look at Oklahoma baseball, where they're at, what they have still in front with a month left to play, Grayson, they're right there in the mix to be a potential host for a second season in a row. But that recipe for hosting, it could include, but man, it would make it a lot more difficult if it includes a loss to Missouri. You really just want to sweep these guys just because they're kind of the lone team in the SEC that's pretty bad.
Worst ERA in all the SEC. Their batting average, by the way, team batting average, is right behind Oklahoma. They're one spot behind Oklahoma in the SEC.
Just can't pitch at all.
Yeah, their pitching stinks. I mean, Oklahoma's dropped double digits on them in both games.
I know. And, by the way, they have 5 outs still to play with in this opening contest of the doubleheader today.
Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line, 405-651-3439. A texter in the 580. Chad Baker-Mazzara is a hoe.
How did that start on the text line?
Oh, my goodness. You don't know how that started? So that started because of Parker Thune, of all people. Probably the last one at the station you would have thought would have started that.
No doubt. I would not have picked him.
OU Kentucky, that was here in Norman at the LNC. At the end of the game, you watched the end of the game, right? And Brandon Garrison is, talking a little smack with Jeremiah Fears and Jalen Moore. And Jalen Moore's one of his retorts to Brandon Garrison is to say, "You a hoe." I'm not going to transcribe the rest of that, but basically it was saying.
I see. So
and Parker went on and just said, and Parker just straight up said, "You a hoe" on the radio. This was a month and a half, 2.5 months ago, and we have ran with it.
Okay, I got you. I'm up to speed now. Thank you for Thank you for getting me.
But yeah, that is
up to speed here.
That is the genesis of that.
That all makes sense. So from the OU Kentucky game in the LNC.
Yes, that is where that all started. But
JT Daniels has just entered the portal after hearing that 5-year eligibility injunction possibility. That's from Brian in Maryland. That is not a factual thing. That's not a factual report. But that is funny.
Dog, like, what is this gonna look like? And I mean,
I don't know, man.
I've consistently and I know. Look, I know that players, they make bad decisions. I know they are not devoid of any culpability in what has become just a ruckus world of college football. But, I mean, you talk about the biggest failure in leadership I've ever seen in any institution ever. I mean, Lord. I mean, Congress and the legislative branch did not want to get involved in this. And now all of a sudden they have to. And you've got judges over here throwing out injunctions after injunctions here in case after case. I mean, at some point, I hate to use this word. Maybe I'll use a much more, probably better received version of this. College football needs its own, like, chancellor and a group of people around that one guy to say, hey, look, we got to bring all this in. And we're going to make some rules quick, fast, and in a hurry. Because you got unlimited NIL, unregulated payment to people is one thing, but unlimited eligibility in something that was supposed to be limited by the time you were in school. Now, I know we've moved completely past the whole school part, but unlimited eligibility is wild. At that point, you're the minor leagues. That's what you are at that point.
Yeah, oh yeah, no doubt. I hope that doesn't play out that way because that would be, I mean, that's not what you want college sports to be.
Exactly.
It's not what it has been designed to be, and I understand hey, I got a chance to earn and this, that, and the other, but look, 4 or 5 years, okay, it's over. It's over.
Yeah.
It's time for life.
And at what point do you get sick of being in college?
Well.
College is the greatest 4 years of my life so far.
Van Wilder never got sick of it.
Oh, man. That's really good stuff. Back on the YouTube chat, Heckert said, I couldn't help it. There hasn't been a Wake Grayson is black in a while. True that. That's really true. Jimmy Satterfield says, always good to see Josh again.
Well, hey, that's very kind. It's always good to hang out with all of you. Ending on a sad note here, but just, Plank mentioned it this morning. Sunday will be the 30th anniversary of the OKC bombing.
Oh, that's right.
And, again, ending on a sad note here, but just wanted to say to, surviving family members and, folks that were touched by this tragedy that we're thinking of you this weekend. Obviously, we won't be on air on the 30th anniversary, so... Anyways, I know that's a sad deal, but saw it pop across the timeline here and just crazy that has been 30 years ago. For I'm sure many folks that grew up here, live here, were thinking of family members.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt. All right, that'll do it for us here on Locked In. Heading into our Easter weekend, hope you guys have a safe and happy Easter if you celebrate. And man, NBA playoff weekend too. It'll be fun, man. It'll be fun. No matter if you're a fan of the Thunder or anybody else around, should be a fun weekend. Sooner Diamond Sports.
Happy Easter, my friend, to
Happy
you and your
Easter.
family and all you guys out there. Thanks for letting me hang, dude.
Absolutely. It's been fun. Appreciate you, Josh. Appreciate all of you on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. The Rush is next. Blake Gamble, Teddy Lehman.